All right, what's good, y'all? Let's talk about it. I'm about to go see Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm about to go see Spider-Man. So I decided, let me do a quick video about Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, Ozzy Osbourne, if you don't know, it was announced yesterday. He's going to have his haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights. So let's get to it right now.
Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
I see you've brought your strength. No matter, for even the strongest can be overpowered by the dark.
Let the madness begin!
Bow before Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. One nightmare of many, only at Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
I see you've brought your strength. No matter, for even the strongest can be overpowered by the dark.
Let the madness begin!
Bow before Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. One nightmare of many, only at Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
Alrighty. Y'all saw that. Ozzy Osbourne, he pulling up. He coming, he rising out the grave to terrorize everybody. I don't know how they're gonna do this house. I never went through Black Sabbath. I believe that was 2013. I could be wrong on that. I never went through it. So I don't know how they're gonna do this house, but I expect it to be good. I've seen some of the YouTubers, they're predicting this to be the house of the year. I disagree with that. I still have it as Hellraiser. Hellraiser is going to be number one. And I think Evil Dead Burn is going to be number two. I'm standing on that until further notice. Now, I thought Terrifier would be number one last year, which it arguably is, but I put Jason Universe as the number one overall haunted house for Horror Nights last year. That was being objective, even though Terrifier is my favorite. So now let's get to the questionnaires. I guess that's what you can call it, questionnaires. Let me go back to Horror Nights real quick. Let's see. You're in Ozzy's world now. Bow at the throne of the Prince of Darkness in this haunted house inspired by the twisted mind of one of rock and roll's greatest legends. Yeah, it's not too much on that. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. So let's go to John Murdy, man. Let's see what he got to say. Well, he's taking a trip to LA for the final stages of production. He will be at Midsummer Scream next Sunday. So everybody, please pull up. Please pull up if you can to Midsummer Scream. Let's see. He says something. Oh, he's gonna have 13 things to announce at Midsummer Scream next Sunday at 5 o'clock. That's one of the busiest panels I've ever been through, like the hardest panels to get through. I've got through it once, and then the other time, yeah, me and Kaka locked out. Oh, let me read this. Let's see how quickly I could get through this before I have to get ready to go to the movies. So here's the questionnaire from yesterday. So TLEV Media asks, will we be seeing this behemoth come to life? He laughs. Do you think that Ozzy is being immortalized? Do you think since Ozzy is being immortalized in house form, we could see other metal/rock legends come in the future, Slayer, Ghost, Iron Maiden, etc.? I do love doing music houses. I prefer this over pop houses. Do rock and metal over pop, please. Park Journey says, last year's scene with WWE, the true tribute house was in Orlando, and in Hollywood it's just Y6 as a theme. Looking at the descriptions for Ozzy, was seeing the opposite is true this year. In Hollywood is the Ozzy tribute, in Orlando is just Ozzy themed. John Murray said, I would disagree with both of those statements. I designed Why to be a tribute to Bray. That was top of mind through the whole process. I think Charles and Orlando felt the same way about Ozzy. We just had different approaches, which I always think is cool. Well, we hear Miracle Man. Can we get heavy metal music back on the Escalator playlist, Ride Down to the Lower Lot? I know the song, but it wasn't one I had a scene in mind for. The music will be different this year, but probably not metal. Music is very polarizing, so going a different way, but in theme with the event. What differences will the Ozzy house have compared to the 13 house in 2013? Totally different. This one is inspired by his solo career. Okay, so that's the big difference. It's about his solo career. Someone asked about Evil Dead Burns location. He said 8 Scott South, where Poltergeist was last year. Oh, then the dude also asked any of the masons where we would get wet again. Murdy says there's water effects, but quite as crazy as last year. I think he meant, but not quite as crazy as last year. Someone else asked, do you have any other music-based house ideas in mind for future HHNs? John Murdy says yes. He even wrote one a few years ago. Few years ago, and I bet you that was Billie Eilish. That's why I'm willing to bet. Original house. Is the house going to be more focused on his career/music, or is it more of a fictionalized version of Ozzy's life/upbringing? The house description for Hollywood mentions that it starts in the Osbourne Asylum, which is what makes me curious. Technically, it starts earlier. The facade isn't the Osbourne Asylum. It's something else associated with his past. It's kind of an original house inspired by his solo career. What's your favorite treatment for a house IP original? If you had a favorite, I don't really. See, someone asked if he would be open to the idea of a Scooby-Doo house for HHN. I know we had the Fan Fest crossover with Universal Monsters this year, which was amazing, but an HHN house would go crazy. He says, I totally do it. Might not be that scary, but it would be fun. I'm against that, but I'm a fear-based fan. JQ asked, will this Mace incorporate Ozzy Osbourne childhood backstory before he became the Prince of Darkness? Will there be different variations of Ozzy Osbourne based on the Blizzard of Oz cover, Diary of the Madman, and Bark at the Moon for Hollywood exclusively? Yes, there will be different iterations of Ozzy, and yes, there's a reference to his childhood. Will the Ozzy houses in both coasts be similar? I hope they are, since it sounds like it's very personal to you, and personal houses are always special. No, actually, they're pretty different, but I always think that's cool. Is this house for the facade down by Mummy? Yes. Someone asked about Slash's participation, and he says, wait and see. Oh, someone asked, is there any chance that an A24 horror movie could make an appearance? John Murdy says, I hope so. They've made some iconic films. What part of HHN takes the majority of your energy year, and what part excites you the most? Writing treatments takes up half the year. Damn, dude. Of all the solo Ozzy albums, which is your personal favorite? In particular to No More Tears. I cannot wait for this house. Ozzy has been a hero of mine my entire life, and this is such a cool way to honor him. I like Patient, Number 9, Madman, Blizzard the best. Is there anything you've seen come out of Orlando events, original content that you wish you had thought of / wanted to bring over that you haven't? I like Slaughter Cinema. Yes, bring Slaughter fucking Cinema. I know Knott's did it. I know Orlando has did it. Bring that shit to Hollywood. You feel me? Hold on, say it. Okay. What was it like working with The Weeknd on his houses? It was cool, very creative, interesting guy. Even hung out at his house the second time we worked together to discuss things. That was quite an experience. Pulling up in my crappy rental car and saying, he's suspecting me. LL. Will we see any large scale puppets or animatronics this year? Another laugh. Should we expect to see scare actors outside the front of the facade? No live performance out front. The facade is an image that popped into my head that I thought might relate to Ozzy's childhood. I didn't know if it was true or not, just had a feeling, then found out later it was true. Weird synchronicity. Could you bring Jason back every year? I swear I'll buy all the tickets. No, but favorite house license to do a maze on? Well, I've done a lot of Jason houses over the years, and they're always fun to do. At what point of the process did this start to become a real possibility that it would come to life at HHN? Probably the one I'm most excited for. Last year during HHN, literally at the event, I'm stealthy. Ever consider a Simpsons treehouse, a horror house? Not a house, no, because if the characters were done like how they appear in the house, they never survive. Just not a practical costume for a hunt. I agree. Don't bring none of that silly shit there. What advice do you have for those wanting to shift careers and work more in the themed entertainment space? Get experience anywhere you can find it. When did Prince of Darkness begin conception/writing? What game? Conception was discussed during HHN last year in September and October. Number 2, Gang Beast. That's the game that he's playing with his children. Which of Ozzy's albums should we study up on to understand what we'll be seeing in the house? We pull from a lot of them: Blizzard, Madman, Bark at the Moon, Ordinary Man, Ultimate Sin, etc. Will there be any Black Sabbath involvement via music or Easter eggs? No, it's based entirely on his solo career. How prominent of a presence, if any, will Bats have in this house, and how similar will this be to the Black Sabbath house? It's definitely a thing, and it's totally different. It's a totally different. It's a totally different house from Black Sabbath 13 3D. Are we getting HHN Donuts back? I have no idea. Which of the houses that are announced do you think will be the scariest? You guys will decide that. It all comes down to the performance. Facts. Love the Ozzy house announcement. Were you and Ozzy friends? When the world lost him, it hit hard. So thank you for this tribute to him. It means a lot to all us fans. I worked with him, but can't really say we were friends like how Slash was friends with him. Slash was the first person I contacted after he passed away. What would be the most difficult horror theme or character to recreate in your opinion? Even if it was done, what would be the hardest one to bring to life? Something like Jurassic Park, probably in terms of scale/complexity. Facts. What is some of the scenes are you doing? Let's let that be a surprise. Oh, what's some of the scenes that he's doing? Let's let that be a surprise. You mentioned last year that you had to go to a top secret meeting after the Terrified panel. Was this the result of that meeting? There were a lot of meetings, but this took place at HHN. So any chance the house will have 3D-esque effects like in the Black Sabbath one? And is there a possibility of getting an entire 3D maze in the future? No 3D in this house. I just find the color palette kind of limiting visually in terms of how we did in the past. Favorite song you transformed into a scene for this house? Crazy Train, because it involves multiple elements. What songs can we look forward to from each announced album? Play close attention and write them down after you go through it. Do you have mazes you are excited for 2027 yet? Oh, yes. Will we possibly begin another Slash vinyl this year? Not this year. Need to build up some more tracks to make it special. Damn, he kept going. Do you have a favorite nasty creature or critter out of all of HHN? I rather like the bear and Fallout, but I think the Queen Alien is hard to beat for a pure wow factor. What songs should we listen to? Trying to add some songs/albums to my ever-growing Horror Nights playlist to really get into the zone. Diary of a Madman is a good start. On a scare factor, can you rank the IP houses? No. I don't do that. That's for you guys to decide. You don't know how scary something is till you see it with performance. Facts. Is this one of your favorite houses you ever done? Top 5, it's up there. With the Ozzy Osbourne house, is there anything special you are excited for everyone to see? Yes, one specific idea I had that I shared with his son, Jack, the first time we got together to talk about this. Is this the house you were most excited for this year personally? Yeah, I think so, given my past experience with Ozzy and wanting to pay tribute to his legacy. Favorite random thing you had to research for this year? Did a whole lot of research on trains. I'm such a huge Ozzy fan. I'm probably going to cry in the house. Hope everyone's prepared for his criers. I totally get it. I was very emotional when he passed away. He had a big impact on me. Do you plan to ride the Fast and Furious ride on your next visit? No, I retired myself from coasters. Haven't even ridden the one I helped create in several years. The last time was with my kids. Huntline asks, what can we know about the facade? It looks incredible and almost feel Greco/Roman. It's Victorian in terms of its architecture. What game are you playing and being ass kicked in? Gang Beasts. How does feedback on the event get back to you personally? Do you sit back and fill a tank with screams like Monster Inc.? I read all of it. Ever any chance of a collab with Iron Maiden? Eddie scenes built for HHN. It's something I'd love to do. It needs to happen one day. What was your favorite Ozzy song/album to design around? I didn't have a single favorite, multiple ones. Will the Ozzy house feature some Black Sabbath, or is it only Ozzy's solo career? We did Sabbath years ago. How far to 2027 planning are you currently? 4 treatments completed. Why is the facade pink? Is that black light reflective coating? I'm kind of wondering that myself. Primer, maybe it won't be pink. How different was the first draft of the Ozzy house versus what we're getting? Very different through the facade, and first couple scenes were always the same. Can we got a song list for the house? Sure, write it down after you go through it and then make a playlist. YP house had the hardest scenes to translate into a house. Stranger Things because of the sheer scale of it. What was your hardest or favorite thing about the Ozzy house? Writing it through the first draft away. Fuck. Where is the house located? Mummy Q. What was the process for choosing the soundtrack of this maze? What would go best with each scene? Some are literally inspired by a specific song. Others, it was more what vibe would work for the scene. Top 5 favorite mazes you have done, all for personal reasons. Alice Cooper, X2, Black Sabbath 13, Universal Monsters, Bride of Frankenstein Lives. Will Jack the Clown and Hollywood Harry be at HHN this year? I haven't heard from Harry in a while, and Jack seems to be hanging in Vegas. Was this house planned before Ozzy died or after? After our newest people from the past. How many songs will be in the house? Several. What kind of scenes can we expect? I want it to be a surprise. Do y'all try to have some sort of teenager-friendly house every year? Not specifically. Will the Parisian house be announced soon? Also, I'm a big fan of your work, Murdy. Thank you. Next month. Ooh, Midsummer Screen. Ooh. What can you tell us about the upcoming Terror Tram? Nothing. You'll have to wait. Boom. How many times do you tend to walk through the houses each year? Dozens and dozens of times. Okay, he stopped. Yes, he stopped. Okay. Let's go to one more thing. I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode. I don't remember, so pardon me. But Horror Nights Orlando, aka I should say Universal Orlando, aka Halloween Horror Nights 35 is going to do a Scare Zone announcement. Downtown Clowntown featuring Art the Clown and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So my theory on this, let's go back to Horror Nights. My theory on this is that we're going to get Art the Clown and Killer Clowns from Outer Space as the Terror Tram. I think Art is going to host it, potentially, but I think Killer Clowns from Outer Space will do double duty this year. That's my prediction. They will do the Terror Tram or the Terrifier Tram, and they will have their own house, and this will be reminiscent of 2017 when they did the Titans of Terror, which featured Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and then they had Titans of Terror Maze, which featured Freddy versus Jason, and then Leatherface at the end, I believe. That was 2017. So I think this will be similar. Kill Clowns. They're going to announce this. Murdy's going to announce this at Midsummer Screen, which is next week. It's literally next week. It's going to be the repeat of a repeat Honey House. Oh, well. I'm gonna go through the Honey House again, so it don't even matter at this point. But so far, Hellraiser and Evil Did Burn, my top 2. Didis would be next. No, Sinners would be next. It's a switch between the two, but that's my top 4. Ending with Sinners or Triple D. It's gonna depend. I think it's gonna be tough. We're gonna see. We're going to see. But Hellraiser will be the best. Haunted House Sinners will be the busiest haunted house. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's about it for today. Like I said, I'm about to go get ready because I'm gonna see Spider-Man soon. They talking about it's the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2 and the best MCU Spider-Man movie. So we're gonna see what it do. But yeah, thank you for watching. Salute.